The Boeing 777X. It is an upcoming widebody that has had nothing short of a very turbulent journey to certification, and that road to certification is still not complete. And in another blow to the program, Lufthansa's CEO, when speaking with reporters and as broken by Aviation Week, has provided updates on the EIS, that being the entry into service, and delivery. Previously scheduled for 2025 after what would be a 5-year delay, Boeing had been forecasting certification as early as therefore next year, with deliveries to occur towards the latter stages. You would then project a formal entry into service for commercial operations in and around the early stages of 2026. Ritter, the CEO of Lufthansa, though, says that the first delivery of the 777-9 will now likely be pushed back towards 2026, which would represent another delay. However, his adjusted forecast, interestingly, comes just 2 months after the Lufthansa Group CEO said he expected Boeing to still deliver the first 777-9 in 2025. So you can really see just how much this situation has been fluctuating of late. If all went according to plan, Lufthansa's revised forecasting means that the 777X should be operational by the summer of 2026. At the earliest. The last comment is a cautionary tale that predicting when a new aircraft will enter service has become increasingly more difficult, arguably since the 737 MAX crisis occurred in the latter stages of the 2010s, that obviously redefined how jets were approved. Concerns really about obtaining certification in 2025 were spurred on following Boeing's door blowout incident that we know took place at the beginning of this year. Following this incident, Boeing faced increased scrutiny from the Federal Aviation Administration, which led to slow production rates and the certification of upcoming jets, such as the 737-10, being put on hold once more. Boeing is still forecasting a 2025 certification, followed by deliveries in the same year. For the 777-8F, well, the newly launched freighter variant is expecting a 2027 approval and delivery, but ultimately, and probably one of the more important factors, is that the actual approval and delivery will rest on the shoulders of the FAA as to when the jet can be cleared and the FAA deems this plane is safe enough to enter service. Delays surrounding the 777X are not uncommon. The aircraft was, believe it or not, initially slated to enter service back in 2020, but following several pushbacks, 2025 was then quoted as the revised time for the final delay, you'd imagine. However, the president of Emirates, Tim Clark, has not been afraid to speak his mind on several occasions, and has said that he expects delays in 2024 alone. When speaking with the UK Aviation Club only a couple of months ago, he said a 2026 delivery was likely, if all parties were at worst unlucky. But this forecast becomes more and more likely by the day. Therefore, new comments from the CEO of Lufthansa surrounding a 2026 delivery and EIS confirm what Emirates has likely been predicting for some time, and you'd imagine what other airlines are feeling but not necessarily publicly disclosing. Emirates was expected to take on a Boeing 777X jet in 2024, no, not for scheduled passenger operations, but rather for route-proving flights, as confirmed in 2023. However, talk on this has slowed since the turn of the new year. Many argue that such a deal between Emirates and Boeing to make this possible was essentially the American plane maker compensating Emirates for the persistent delays. The Dubai-based airline has certainly been the most vocal when it comes to discussing the impact of the 777X delays, and obviously the frustrations that they have. On several occasions, Clark has gone as far as signifying that he would rethink the 777X order and potentially take his business elsewhere for a more proven jet that wouldn't encounter as many delays. Potentially this could be the 787 or the A350, but time and time again, these frustrations didn't actually eventuate to anything firm being done, and towards the latter stages of 2020 2023, many would smirk a little bit at what would take place. Emirates went back for more 777X jets. The top-up order cemented Emirates' commitment to the widebody and its title as the largest customer, with no doubt the public criticism likely leading to a pretty hefty discount. Ultimately, for customers of the 777X, even away from just Emirates, the delays have several different impacts on the day-to-day business. Firstly, let's take a look at the impact on the fleet. For airlines expecting the 777X, yes, these planes are going to be fantastic for future growth and bringing greater levels of efficiency, but more often than not, they are being brought on to replace some of your more aging and less efficient aircraft types. In the case of Lufthansa, we know the 777X will replace some of your existing quad-engined aircraft. This a type of plane that airlines are moving more and more away from as they see greater benefits to twin-engine units. However, because of the 777X delays, Lufthansa has been forced to return the A380 to service, retain A340s, and keep 747s on longer than initially expected to mitigate the losses and ensure that capacity can be kept in place. But broadly, the retainment of these aforementioned jets are not just because of the 777X, that is one component that makes up many aircraft being delayed from Airbus and Boeing. Meanwhile, negative ramifications are also felt across many airlines' networks. For some companies, adding the Boeing 777X may be a way to boost capacity or start new routes. Additionally, an aircraft like this could be viewed as a means to relieve pressure on an existing aircraft type. Basically, what I'm saying is, let's look at Emirates. They operate a fleet of Boeing 777s and Airbus A380s. Bringing on an aircraft like the 777X allows them to rethink their network. Maybe an A380 was being operated to a destination that a 777 would work better on. That frees up an Airbus A380 that can then be sent to a more in-demand city. Finally, the persistent delayed delivery obviously have their financial impact, among many other factors on the day-to-day business. While these companies are seeking compensation for the losses directly from the manufacturer, and are in some cases achieving this, just getting these planes actually delivered on time would probably be regarded as something way more appreciated and more beneficial than compensation. So it would appear that the 777X is likely going to be delayed until 2026 again. This a year later than the 2025 forecasted entry into service and certification. Remember, Boeing is sticking firm with their goal of a 2025 approval, but your airlines, well, they're becoming increasingly not as confident that this will be met. When taking a look at all the problems that are hurting the American plane maker, with quality issues, question marks around production, what are your thoughts on the continuously evolving situation of the 777X? You can let me know down below in the comments. All I've got to say is I can't wait for the day this plane is finally flying in the skies. Not just to potentially be able to see it with my own eyes, generally to have this saga over. Thanks a lot for watching. Please take care, do be safe. I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest aviation news.
And we'll fly.